This episode is sponsored by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro for free at RamseySolutions.com/invest. You're listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires, where we talk investing, retirement, building wealth, and outrageous generosity.
Today's question comes from Leo in Washington. He says, I'm 83 years old and I want to know how to set up my inheritance for my children and grandchildren. I don't want to give them the money. I don't want to give them money that, okay, I see what he's saying. He doesn't want them to get this money and just blow it. Yeah. There's a couple of details I wish were here. Obviously, you're going to either need a will or an estate plan or a combination of both, depending. If you've got, a net worth over millions of dollars and it's a lot of money, then you're probably going to want something like an estate plan to really put everything in there and decide over time what happens to it. If it's just a couple of possessions and a little bit of money, he might be okay with just a will. But there's probably more to it that you're going to want to walk through. You're going to want to make sure that, there's a power of attorney set up for your medical stuff, for your financial stuff. You're really going to want to walk through that estate planning situation. Dave, if you're just a guy, you got a couple $100,000, you've got a couple possessions, is it worth going through the process of doing an estate plan, or would you just say, put it in your will?
I would go to Mama Bear Legal Forms and do a will.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of how to decide whether you're going, number one, we need to start with the premise that just because someone is kin to you does not mean they're entitled to an inheritance. Okay? So I'll give you an extreme example. One of your grandkids is doing heroin. If you leave them money, you will kill them because they will use it to overdose. Right? So they're not automatically entitled to money just because they're in your lineage. And so you have a responsibility to them and to God to manage this money well. And so we're going to leave it to people who are going to handle money well and are handling their life well. Because when you get more money, whoever you are, me included, you become more of what you already are. If you're a jerk and you get money, you become a colossal jerk. If you're a drug addict and you get money, you die of an overdose. If you have an anger problem and you get money, you're a rageaholic. You're a well-financed butt. And so, and so on, right? And so if you're sloppy with money and you get money, it doesn't suddenly make you not sloppy with money. It makes you sloppier.
That's right.
So you're not blessing someone who has behavior problems, we'll call them, by giving them money. As a matter of fact, you are blessing them by not financing that.
Yeah. And have that conversation. Have those conversations open and in open. Don't make it like some big secret of...
So I'm going to sit down with the grandkids.
Yeah.
And if you want to put them all in a pile, that's fine. If you want to do it one at a time, that's fine. And go, listen, those of you that handle money well will be getting money. Those of you that don't handle money well will be getting a salute. I love you. But I am not, matter of fact, I love you so much, I'm not going to finance your misbehavior. And so Grandpa's watching. It's that simple.
Hey, say your kids are fine and you want to split up this money. And this is the other thing. You can't be mad if everybody doesn't get the same amount.
No.
Go ahead and tell them.
Hey, let me just tell you, fair is where the Tilt-a-Whirl and the cotton candy is. There is no fair. Okay?
Yeah.
Even Jesus didn't split it evenly. Check the parable of the talents.
True that.
The parable of the talents. Who got more money? The one who managed it well. Parable of the talents. Read it. So this is biblical. So I'm looking at my grandkids and go, don't be mad at me. God said it. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, I'm kidding, but I'll take the blame because here's the thing. I am not going to finance your misbehavior. I love you too much to be an enabler. Enablers are weak people pleasers, and I'm not one. So this is how I talk to my kids now.
Yeah.
I mean, as weird as it sounds, we do an estate planning meeting once a year where all the family is there and the leadership team at Ramsey is there, and we talk about what happens this year if Dave dies. As a matter of fact, that meeting is today.
Was it today?
It is going to be later today. I'm dreading it. It's the Monty Python meeting.
Are you feeling just fine?
I'm feeling much better. It's just a flesh wound. We're planning my death all the time, right? So, yeah. But this has been for years. I mean, the starting point of our thing is, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. And if you're going to do that, then you're going to get financed to do that through the blessings that God has given us. But I am going to make sure, if you're misbehaving, that God's money is not financing it, and Dad's money is not financing it, because both of us love you too much to finance your misbehavior and encourage your misbehavior. And the misbehavior could simply be laziness. Mm-hmm. I don't like to work much. Not financing that. Why? Because it's not good for you. It's not sustainable, right? It's not good. It doesn't bring joy in your life. Industry and diligence brings joy in your life. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Creating things and accomplishing things brings joy to your life. Sitting around and being really good at a game on the television does not bring joy to your life. I know you think it does, but you're just numbing your mind. It's brain candy. Yeah. So, I mean, you've got to do something with your life. And so, Grandpa, that's a fair thing to do. And so it's a fair thing to leave. If you want to leave I'm going to leave you $5,000, and all that is I say I love you, okay? Yeah. But your sister gets $100,000 because your sister's actually got a brain and is using it. Yeah.
Tactical question. Okay, Grandpa's passing away. He's leaving the grandchildren $40,000 each in the will. Mm-hmm. Does he need that money? Effectively, would go to them immediately if it were in a will. Mm-hmm.
If they're minors, I would leave it in a trust.
Yeah, so that was the tactical part.
If the grandchildren are not minors, then I would just leave it to them.
Yeah, I think that's the tactical part that people miss. If you've got minors involved, whether it's your own children or grandchildren, that trust lets you decide when they get the money, as opposed to it happening when you pass.
If you want to keep somebody from getting it till they're 30 or something like that, you need a trust too. Yeah. But again, it depends on the amounts and how complicated and how complex you want to get into this. Yeah. But let's start with the premise of two things. Number one, no one is entitled to money. Mm-hmm. No. So I've met people who felt like their parents or their grandparents owed them their inheritance, or that they were entitled to that inheritance. And you're just not. That's not ethically, morally, legally, spiritually correct. It's just wrong, okay? Yeah. Number two, so you're not required to leave money to someone. So get off the shame train, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the second thing is you need to really understand, with all money transactions, you are not helping people when you give people that are misbehaving money. You are financing a larger portion of that misbehavior.
Oh, 100%.
100% of the time you're magnifying. So people don't get, it's like marriages don't get better. Where our marriage is struggling, so we had a kid. Well, that was a dumb butt idea. Mm-hmm. That doesn't help your marriage. Yeah. Okay. It just means you're not sleeping. That's all that means. So, I mean, gosh.
And you might have to consider your kid's spouse. Do you consider the spouse as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So if one of my kids has an overbearing spouse that is going to inflict values that I don't believe upon the wealth that I leave, then I'm not leaving it.
Yeah. Ooh, and you got to let them know that.
We talk about it all the time. We'll be talking about it tonight. I mean, we do. We review this every year. We go through it, and we go through. This is what's going to happen with this. This is what's going to happen with that. This is where it's going. This is what we're doing, and everybody gets an opportunity to have their feelings hurt every year. So
I can't imagine there's any drama in that room, Dave.
There really isn't.
That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine
there really isn't. It's really kind of boring. Yeah. But at least we review it, and that's an act of diligence. It's an act of love on my part. So Sharon says, this is what's happening. That's what's happening. Sharon knows she's taken care of. Mm-hmm. Kids know how they're getting Ramsey. They know how they're going to run Ramsey this year. If something happens to me, the milk truck hits me. The proverbial milk truck. That poor milk truck driver.
No, if that milk truck comes for you, I'm coming for it, Dave. Nothing's taking you out.
There we go. Now I feel better. I'm feeling better.
I got you. You're on my side.
Jade's got me. That's it. Beware, ye milk truck drivers.
Thanks for listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. Need help with your investments? Connect with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com/invest or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.